Zionist, sir. Tommy is a
Zionist. Just to be clear then, so just to be clear, when you retweeted this, you believed Nick Fuentes was talking about Tommy Robinson.
I believe he was talking about Tommy Robinson, but I only agree with the latter part of the tweet, as I said.
Right.
But you agree with the first part.
Stop. So he still doesn't agree with the first part.
And that was the point Piers
He says I only agree. No, but we were just praising him for you saying that he's backtracked his position on Tommy, that he's saying, but right now he's saying I only agree with the latter part. Let's go back again. Go back a bit. Yeah, no, just here where he was talking about Tommy, right? Where you said, okay.
Tommy's a Zionist.
Yes.
Wait, I don't even remember. What was the beginning of the Nick tweet?
That basically thugs, Zionist thugs are the one who are pushing the riots in the UK, essentially.
So what does he disagree with the first part?
He's saying I only agree with the latter part.
What was the latter part?
The latter part is about that this is causing division in the community.
Could someone link the tweet?
Causing division in the community, basically.
Okay.
Is putting Muslim against Christian, etc.
Slaughter your daughter! Come on, bro. Okay. Talking to Piers must be frustrating. Yeah, it's a fucking headache.
You know who he's talking about when he says that?
Do you?
Yes.
Who?
He's talking about Tommy Robinson, who's openly Zionist. Do you believe Tommy Robinson incited these things? Because if you do, you agree with Nick Fuentes.
So here he says he's openly Zionist. But then what's the point of saying in the end that I only agree with the latter part of the tweet? Because if he believes he's an open Zionist, shouldn't you speak against an open Zionist then? Why are you retweeting an open Zionist? And then you say you only agree with the latter part that says about the division, right?
Right.
So that's contradictory. That's the point I'm making.
I don't think even Piers was talking about. I thought you were agreeing with Piers here, but you're saying.
No, I'm not necessarily. I said Piers was fair to push him on the point that he's not responding to the point.
When he says that?
Do you?
Yes.
Who?
He's talking about Tommy Robinson, who's openly Zionist. Do you believe Tommy Robinson incited these things? Because if you do, you agree with Nick Fuentes.
So here he says he's openly Zionist. But then what's the point of saying in the end that I only agree with the latter part of the tweet? Because if he believes he's an open Zionist, shouldn't you speak against an open Zionist then? Why are you retweeting an open Zionist? And then you say you only agree with the latter part that says about the division, right?
Right.
So that's contradictory. That's the point I'm making.
I don't think even Piers was talking about. I thought you were agreeing with Piers here, but you're saying.
No, I'm not necessarily. I said Piers was fair to push him on the point that he's not responding to the point. I'm just fair with each side the way I see it, basically.
Okay,
I'm not.
So the tweet is: it's clear that not only the protests are being amplified and directed by Zionist plants on social media, but the mayhem will also catalyze a major crackdown on speech and persecution of the political right in the UK.
This is what he agrees with.
All this with Labour, supermajority government. Okay, so
only, but the mayhem will also catalyze a major crackdown. That's what the part that he agrees with. Okay. So that is going to cause division and this and that, basically.
Okay.
Persecution of speech will happen, censorship. That's what he agrees with. But he's not saying that he necessarily agrees with the first part of the tweet. But then he calls Tommy Robinson an open Zionist.
So this is what he does.
That's what I'm saying. It's a conflicting message.
Okay.
It's why do you only say I only agree with the first part then if you think he was talking about Tommy Robinson and you just admitted that Tommy Robinson is an open Zionist?
It's funny.
Why don't you then stand on business like you guys say?
Stand on business.
Yeah, and then say yes, I agree with the whole
business.
Yeah, whatever it is. You say I just agree with the full tweet.
Yeah. Okay, I guess we can watch them. I'm curious now, but
yeah.
It's funny because I kind of understand it as a mixed race revert who also is caught up in at the political right. It's like a conflict. What's happening in the UK is like a conflict where you're kind of split and torn between both sides. Okay, you believe in nationalism, people should stand up for their country, this stuff. Okay. We believe in the conservative right because they're against trannies and gays. Okay. But also we're brown Muslims where it's so which side do you he's thinking where do I fit in this conflict? Okay. And also my mom has reached out to me yo, you don't feel like you need to go and be part of every conflict.
Okay.
There's no point in jumping in immediately because obviously you can say that this social media rhetoric is indirectly causing riots and stuff like that. Better to, instead of thinking that you need to jump in on everything, just sometimes.
Yeah. So
take a backseat.
No, but the thing is, you cannot say I cannot take a side. When you accepted Islam, that's a side already.
Yeah.
When you push the rights before, also that's a side.
And religion supersedes your race.
Of course,
it supersedes your nationality.
Supersedes everything.
Islam first. No
That's
matter
it.
what.
You submit to God. That's
Yeah.
what Islam is. You
Yeah.
submit to the Creator.
Yeah.
If you submit to the Creator, then you submit to the Creator. You don't
You're
say
Muslim
you
first.
already have a side to take, right?
Yeah.
That's it. You cannot say I don't take sides. Like what do you mean? You know, you say I'm a Muslim and this and that, and you see women. You talk about masculinity and this and that. You see hijabi women being attacked because of this garbage. These cowards in the UK, they go women hijabi women.
Women are
they-
being attacked?
Yeah, they attacked them. Of course, they're wearing a hijab, so it's a symbol of being a Muslim woman.
They're ripping it off and stuff.
Yeah,
like
they
this.
attacked
I heard
them
about
and
that. There was a
yes,
girl
yes.
in the love speech. I think her name is Hira. She was saying that the masjid across from her street, someone like the far right people were like ripping off her hijab.
Yes. So you talk about I'm a Muslim, masculinity, all of that, and you don't condemn these things, and you push. Oh yeah, take your land back. These immigrants, you're just pushing them to do it more and more. That's all you're
Yeah.
doing.
But I understand his confliction because it's another issue. It's
I
not
don't
a,
think it's a confliction.
it's not a confliction. I understand his point of view.
Do you want me to tell you what I think it is?
Well, let me because I relate to it.
Go ahead.
Right, reverting and being so publicly like Muslim, it's like your identity as a Muslim is almost tied to people's public perception of
Okay.
you and speaking out.
Okay.
It's not that much like you. So you were born with Islam.
Okay.
So you have a personal relationship that you're used to from the beginning, right? He reverted publicly and it became a huge phenomenon. I reverted publicly, huge phenomenon.
Okay.
So it's like a lot of the time you think about Islam as like this public, almost a political thing.
Okay.
You think of it, you tie it to social media. You tie it to what's happening in the world.
Okay.
Which is, I'm not justifying. I'm just saying.
No,
that's
I
what-
get what you're saying. But is it that? Or is it sitting on the fence and trying to appease both followers that are not really, they're kind of opposite in a way? Is it that, or you want all these followers to be following? You don't want to upset either side because both of them follow you, so you want to appease to both of them and you want to sit on the fence. Which one is it? Just be honest. Which one is it? That's what I'm going to say, right? I'm going to say either or because that's an issue of intentions, right? I'm not accusing him of doing that. But I'm saying, okay, which one is it really?
But that's what happens when you revert so publicly with so much fame.
Okay, yeah, that,
you know, it's
a
natural.
but it's a choice you make, right? It's a choice
Yeah,
you make.
right.
Look, if he did not incite, he already took a side. I told you when he incited these things. If he didn't say anything, right? Nobody would have said anything. He already had a Christian audience. People were leaving him. No, a Muslim community were not mentioning anything. But the minute he jumped into it himself and started pushing this narrative, then the Muslim community started speaking, and then they tweeted at him and they spoke. Usually, he's been doing certain things which are not Islamically acceptable, right? And certain people many Muslims have been making excuses for him, meaning they said maybe he doesn't know he's a new Muslim, this and that, all of that. But then in this case, now this is a huge damage, not just on his personal relationship between him and God,
Right.
but now he's causing a whole community an issue, right? Which is the community not only in the UK actually, but it's going to other places as well in Europe because it's just starting there.
And you can't sit on the fence like Moist hypocritical.
Yeah,
you have to.
Yeah, you cannot say I love God and I love these people and I love these. You cannot do that. Like, where is the right and wrong? They're opposite sides. So someone has to be right, someone has to be wrong.
Right.
You cannot tell us that I'm going to sit on
Okay,
the
so
fence.
what do you think about my position that I see what's going on? It's like I think that Zionists are trying to cause mayhem and they like seeing the riots.
No
and
problem
division.
with that. Nobody's saying that's false. Who's funding Tommy? Who's causing the corruption?
Right.
Yeah, Zionists. So what you're saying?
But
is
I
true.
also think that people like the Englishmen or Japanese, other people have the right to be nationalistic.
Okay.
It doesn't justify violence, but I'm saying
Okay.
that feeling of obviously it's directed in a lot of the wrong
Sure,
places,
sure, sure.
but people have the right to be like, okay, this is my land.
Okay, so what does it mean to be nationalistic? I'm going to ask that question then.
It means to believe in your country and to have pride of your country.
No problem, no issues. Just you count on that.
Okay, we agree.
Yeah, that's it.
We agree.
No
Alhamdulillah.
problem. But does that mean to go to a mosque? We already agreed from the beginning. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Our issue is never that someone says, I'm proud to be English or I'm English or this is my country. I never go to an Englishman and say, this is my country. I don't care. Do you know what I do actually? I'll tell you something very interesting.
What?
Some Muslims come to the table when I do da'wah.
Mm-hmm.
They come from France, but they're Algerian. I say, where are you from? You say, I'm France. I tell them, you're not from France. You're actually Algerian.
MashaAllah.
Where is your father and mother coming from? I told them, stop being a coconut. You're not going to be black outside and white inside, you know?
That's racist.
Yeah, I don't care. I'll tell you that the way it is, right? I see